looks like I am live. Thanks everyone for joining me again. Welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting. I've been live a bunch this weekend, so I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Tonight I have a guest. We have Mr. Haile himself. No Lucha Libre mask at the moment, but
no Lucha Libre. I'm actually happy to take it off. I got unmasked.
You got unmasked,
Unmasked. And that's all right.
I'm going to shout out the chat here real quick before we get started. Old Wolf, thanks for joining us. Cameron D. YouTube is 90. Is that right? 90? Is that the number? I forget. Yeah, Chad, what's going on, man? Sam I Am, Unruly Simeon, and John's Comics with Kids. I want to thank you guys all for joining us. So tonight, our plan is to talk about this Hot Top 10 look back list that I've been doing for exactly 6 months. And we're just going to talk about what we've learned. And I wanted to have Haile on. He's been watching these since the beginning. I want to have somebody else's perspective and not just my perspective on what we've learned from looking back at these lists. I have a bunch of things that I've kind of written down, and I've done some number crunching and stuff, which, because that's me. But we'll get into that. But first things first, Haile, I want to know, before we did this, and I'm going to talk about myself as well, and I've talked about it a little bit. What was your perspective on that Hot Top 10 list before you started seeing like my look backs and stuff? And how has it changed?
I love the Hot Top 10. I'm looking for the Hot Top 10. I start looking on my phone if I'm on at 4:30, I start looking to see if the list comes out. I don't really wait for the show to come out, although I do watch the show, but it's just, I use it to see what's hot, what's current. If I missed up, I'm going to say something. I love when I got a book on that damn list. Yeah. I love it. It's a highlight of my week. I think the most I've had at one time on one list is like 4 books.
Wow, nice.
On the flip side, I've had a couple dry weeks these past weeks. I think I've only got 1 book, and that and that's okay, and that's all right. But man, I love it. I love your show. I've let you know that for a while now. I always comment, and I love it, man. And I use it, and we'll get into that tonight.
Yeah. So for me, I love the list too. I don't follow it quite as closely as I used to after I started doing this, but I still, every week I look at it. Like, I look at what the current week's list is. I don't watch all of Tom's videos anymore, but I watch most of them. But for me, the reason where this came from originally was I was making some poor decisions chasing some books on this list. Like, as I got back into collecting, like, my collection was pretty sparse. I didn't have a lot of books. I didn't have a lot of value. So I was looking for books to maybe build some value and that kind of stuff. And I chased the books, and it was just, I made some poor decisions. And so being a researcher, I was like, okay, I got to dig into this and try to understand so I make better decisions. And that's where the list came from, at least for me. And then I kind of started doing it right before I decided to make videos. So it was just, I'd already started kind of doing it. And then I was like, okay, that seems like a good idea for a video. I hadn't seen anybody do it yet. And so I was looking for something to do once I started my channel. I did not think it would become the centerpiece of my channel, which I guess it kind of has.
You've said a few times that you were going to stop doing it. And I was like, no, man, I always comment to you.
Yeah. And I've gotten that a lot. And I was thinking that because I felt like I'd kind of learned what I needed to know. But the thing is, I get a comment almost every week from somebody whose channel I haven't seen comment before, thanking me for doing the list. Nice. And as long as I'm getting that kind of feedback, I'm going to keep doing it. I may not do it every week. I won't promise that because life happens. But I'm going to try to keep doing it as much as I can.
Like I've told you before, ETA Nick used to do the I gotta have, and he would come up with it every Saturday, and I would look for that every Saturday because it was a real good series. And when he ended that, yours kind of took that place for me. I look forward on Saturday. I know it comes out 11, 12 on Eastern around that time. Yeah, and I'm always looking for it. Like yesterday, actually, I was out. I got back around 2. Boom, I went in. Boom, looked at it. Awesome, great show. Love it. And I'm actually want to talk about one of the books on that list yesterday because it's. And I might as well right now the bat. I'm sorry, the Catwoman book.
Yeah.
I got a few covers of that book when it came out. Love that cover. I don't regret it. I don't think, I wasn't expecting it to go up. And right now, according to what you came up with yesterday, it's a cover. It's a $10 book. And that's fine. Every book on that list is not gonna maintain. And I think that's what we've learned, and that's what I want to touch on this week, tonight. I just love it, dude.
And if you could go like that's the thing. And one of my points later is if you get into any of those books because you like them and you like that cover and you want that cover for cover price, then you're doing good. It's not like you're not making money on a cover price book. It's now you might not make if you bought like 3 copies hoping to flip a couple, you might not make anything. So you better like the book.
Like the book. Buy what you like, man. Don't go by what's hot. It's good if you get it, but like I said, what you say, if you get it at cover price, man, that's a score regardless.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I got 2 of those covers. I got one, and my daughter has the other one, and because she puts them up on her room. I give her some cool covers, dude. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's perfect. That's a win. You use it. It is art.
Yeah,
that's a gorgeous cover, man. So
it was great. It is a fantastic cover. I love that cover. So I'm gonna get into like my list of like different things that I feel like I've learned from it, and the number one, and it could be number 1 through like 15, and then I could list the others, and it's patience. Because these books aren't going anywhere. And generally, something has caused them to hit the list. But that something usually doesn't last for most of the books. And, and I have like patience actually written down three different times because of there's 3 different aspects to it I think that matter. And the first is that most of these books will settle, like something can cause them to spike or whatever, and they usually settle at a price. Even books that are like keys, that have long-term value that are a good investment or a good spec, tend to, after they hit the list, tend to settle at a price usually just below the list value or in the neighborhood of the same price. That they'll settle in there for a while, and then something else will happen, and then they'll move on up if it's like Fantastic Four 48.
Mm-hmm.
Like, has hit the list multiple times. And it's basically it'll plateau, and then a new rumor or something, and then it climbs again, and then it plateaus. So patience around when a book hits the list for like just keep searching, keep monitoring. Don't like just jump on a book because oh my gosh, it's gonna keep going through the roof. They don't climb constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna settle. And usually it settles slightly lower than whatever it peaked at. And so patience from that aspect, even on a really good book that is a good investment.
I totally agree. Being patient is like rule number 1. I got books in my collection that I'm 50 right now. I just turned 50 a couple of months ago. I got books in my collection that I got when I was 19, 20, 21, and they're just hitting now.
Yeah.
Well, I would like let's say Marvel Special Edition 15. I bought that book probably when I was like 19 or 20. I got it for $30. I remember what I paid for it. Now, especially like after yesterday, that book's blowing up.
Yeah.
It took 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And let's say what you're saying about 48. Yeah, it's going to plateau. That book's not going to come down.
No, it's not coming down, but it doesn't necessarily mean that like it's gonna settle and then it'll go again. And
when it settles, that's the time to buy.
Yeah,
that's the time to buy, and people have to be aware of that because it will go up again. It ain't gonna go down for the most part.
No, but it doesn't mean you can't find a deal.
Exactly.
And that's
it's patience, man. This is comic books is a marathon.
Yeah, and Rob Worth makes the point, the next point of patience I was going to talk about. He's like, hot books, just wait until the spotlight isn't shining. Right. And that's just it. That like a lot of these, there's something that's caused hype. For example, and this is not necessarily like a long-term key, but like I've been looking for, I just hadn't done it. I've been lazy about it. Those Jane Foster books. Mm-hmm. Like today is absolutely the wrong time to buy those books.
Totally wrong day to do it.
You know, it's absolutely the wrong time. But the movie's not coming out for 2.5 years almost.
Right.
Like between now and the trailer, that book is going to settle. People are going to kind of forget. It's going to settle back down. The hype's going to kind of go away. There'll be opportunities to get on that book. And it goes for several of the books that probably are spiking right now from yesterday's announcement, particularly for the movies that are a little ways away. For some of the others, like, and you could say it's the quality of the movie or whatever, but like some of the others that are going to hit hard and hit through the movie, you wait till the movie goes away for a couple of years. If there's not a follow-up, those books are going to come down. It's a long-term game from that perspective. You know, the hype doesn't last forever. It just doesn't.
It can't sustain itself. And that's what the hot list kind of shows it, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
right. Go ahead.
Like 5, okay, let's say you got 10 books on the list every week in the show that you show. Let's say 6 have come down, they're at cover, or a little bit over cover, and you know there's the special ones,
right?
That you know stand out. There's some lists that you put out that you go back to 6 months, and it's like, oh my god, almost every book is just like cover, you know, with attainable $15 to $20 range.
So you mentioned that, and like if somebody asked me once, they're like, well, how many of the books are really like actual keys on the list? And I've usually said 1, maybe 2 is what you average. So I did the numbers. Like I literally have. What did I do with my folder here? I put it back in here. Oh, yeah. Here's the list. Going back, not all the way, but to like August, because I started keeping them.
Good.
21 weeks worth of lists are in that folder. That's 210 books. Now, some of those repeat, but I counted every occurrence.
Right.
And 137 or 65% went down.
Wow.
So 6.5 books on every list went down. 17% basically stayed the same. Didn't change in 6 months. The price didn't go up anymore, didn't go down. It just basically was the price that it was when it hit the list. It kind of just stayed there.
Wow.
So you're looking at between those, that's 82% of the books either went down or stayed the same. 15% continued to go up. So 1.5 books continued to climb to some degree out of the list each week. And then like 3% are unknowns because there's so few sales. The book is hard enough to find. It's just like there's no way to tell because there wasn't any sales to go off of whether it went up, down, or whatever. But out of those 210 books, 65% went down. And then another 17% stayed the same. So
you can't get caught up in the FOMO and the fear of missing out. Yeah. You're gonna get burned. You're gonna get burned. A perfect example is I didn't get the last issue of Walking Dead. You know what? I know that book will come down. It'll you know you could probably even see it now coming down. I haven't even looked. I
haven't looked, but you probably can. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably could. You know what did it hit? $40. I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
I bet you that book is a $20 book all day, if that, after all the hype is gone and stuff. And you know what? And that's when I'll pick it up, and maybe I'll pick it up, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's the thing is if, you know, well, I'm going to do the chat real quick, and then I'm going to get into my next point because I haven't shut the chat out for a while. We got Patrick Seacrest Kelly, Unruly Simeon, Rob Worth, TJ the Slab Dragon Watson. Thank you, guys. D Runk, what's going on, my friend? Sam, I am Comics. Big Will, I was on with Big Will just a little while ago. Thank you, Big Will. YouTube is 90. Chad, what's going on? I shouted you out earlier. Sam, I am. Stacy's weekly comic book picks. Dr. Dre the Collector. Let's see, anybody else? I shouted out John earlier. Rob Worst, I got you a minute ago. So I think that's everybody. So thanks everybody for joining us. I really appreciate it. So the next thing is that the whole FOMO thing. And that is like it's real for people. Like get obsessed with that they're gonna miss out on this book, it's gonna get away from them, they won't be able to get it. For the most part, these books, you're talking about books that are spiking to $20 or $25. Like most of the list is like books that even with the spike are attainable. There's
Exactly.
not and the thing is, like, do you want that book because you want the book or because you think, oh, this might be worth something? And if you think it's going to go through the roof and it's new, a new cover or a new first appearance, odds are you're wrong. It's just like, I mean, how many characters you think about truly whose first appearance are truly worth something? Then when you think about all the comics, like this week, people have went crazy for this Captain Marvel #8, this first appearance of Star.
Mm-hmm.
Like that book, maybe Star becomes something. Maybe
Exactly. Maybe.
But there already is talk that more than likely people think it's actually the girl that appeared in #1, and you just see her with powers for the first time in #8. So that's probably not even her first appearance as who the character is. And like, okay, let's say she becomes a character that's used quite a bit in the Marvel universe, sticks around for a while. Let's say she becomes Silk. Like Silk's first appearance was a $5 book until there was rumors that Sony was going to make it into a movie.
Right.
Like 10 years, you know.
You just never know. Later. You just never know. Look at Bishop.
Yeah.
X-Men first appearance. X-Men. Yeah. Bishop. Claremont. That's that book. That the book doesn't cost anything. What you get? What you could get them in the $10 maybe.
$10, $20. Yeah. Yeah.
You would think that book would be so much more, and it's not. It's tough. I'm gonna one book that I believe is gonna probably might hold up is that new Turtles book, the 95.
Yeah. Now that's a book that I think probably has some staying power. That's a character. She's probably not going anywhere. There's a fifth turtle. It's not like they add a fifth turtle every day.
Exactly. That's my point. When's the last time they had a new turtle? When the first 4 came out. Exactly. That's a good book to spec on. I'm not a turtle fan, but man, they're blowing up.
Yeah.
They're blowing up. I don't feel bad with the FOMO because it's not something I collect, but I can see where that book is just going to blow up. Because like we said, when have there been a new turtle?
Yeah.
There hasn't.
And that's one of the points that I've seen is like, does the character really have staying power? When you like think about these characters that people are chasing, let's look at, the whole thing with, let's go back another week or 2 weeks or whatever to that Marvel Comics presents Wolverine's daughter, maybe.
I missed on that one too. I didn't get that one either. And that's okay.
Everybody is going crazy over that book, and it's like they're paying more for it than the first appearance of Gabby, who's Honey Badger or whatever.
Honey Badger,
yeah. She has a following. She's been in 2 series. She's like a character that people like actually follow and are cosplaying and everything else.
It's
character in 1-2 pages that we don't even know her name yet. People are paying more for.
Exactly. It's fickle. Yeah. Man. You just never know. You get a hunch. Look at Naomi. A 9.8 Naomi's were going what, $800 or $500?
At one point it was going for $800.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is nuts.
It ain't going for that now.
No, it's not going for that now. But that's the chance. If you were silly, if you had to get that book in a 9.8 a couple of months ago for $800, bro, you must be kicking yourself in. Come on. That book is what, I think a $300 book now. I
Yeah,
think
$200-300, I think.
yeah, and you know what? It probably hasn't stopped coming down.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked at that one for a little while. Last time I looked, it was almost down to 200 for an
Yeah, exactly. Who knows what they do in the future? But that book is settled. That book is settled.
Yeah. And maybe now we become something, but that initial spike, you gotta like avoid that crap. Just like, you know, if FOMO is going on around a book, that is, you know, the hype is going to fade. And, you know, it's gonna like, particularly on new books, new characters.
I'm looking at the chat and they brought up Thor 337, and I think I was 12 when that book came out.
Yeah,
like in the early 80s, and that book was massive when that book came. You couldn't find that book. I didn't get that book until way later. But even that book, when it first came out, you couldn't find it anywhere. But after that, it was a $30 book for 30 years.
Yeah.
And within the last year, because of news, it's being, Donny Cates is bringing him up. He's being used again. It's a great character.
Yeah.
It's starting to blow up. But that book was, it goes back to patience, man. It's just, you just never know. You just never know.
I mean, and to a certain degree, every book is different. And you have to, at some point, you have to let go of the fear of missing out and understand that, you be patient, wait for the right opportunity. And TJ said something about that he'll wait years on a book. And you may have to.
You have to wait years.
You have to, but guess what? The book is, when did this book come out? 1960, 67.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got it this week. Like, I've wanted this book forever.
That's awesome, man.
And it finally happened. You can't tell me that there's a new book that if I'm patient and wait for the right opportunity, if I really, really want it, I can't get it. I got this book.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
And so there's nothing that's going to be, crazy out of the way that you're not going to be able to get it. You're not missing out, particularly on the Cation books that you don't really want. You want because they're hot. And that's
exactly.
And that was kind of where I was at when I first started doing the list, and that was the mistake I was making, is I was trying to buy books that I don't actually want in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
It was just because, it was a hot thing, and you gotta get it, and it's like, no, you don't.
No, man.
Collect what you want. Collect what you like.
Books come around.
Yeah,
you might miss out, but there are so many books out there that the right deal. If it doesn't feel right, man, it's okay. That book will come around again. And sometimes it comes around when you're not even expecting. You're looking for something else, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I was looking for this book a couple of months ago, a year ago, whatever. And bam, look, I get one in a better condition at a better price. And it's okay to wait, man. I'm serious, man. Unless you're trying to flip books like on a constant, it's just wait, man. Just wait.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about is we talked a little bit about these first appearances that people are chasing, like, the Star and this first Wolverine's daughter thing, and trying to understand whether or not that character has staying power versus a first turtle, or something like that. The other thing that I want to talk about a little bit is the hot cover of the week, where there's nothing key about the book. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, you got one right there, right behind you.
Everybody thinks every hot cover is going to be that book.
Yeah.
And it's going to sustain. And the fact of the matter is, the vast majority of those don't. Like, I talked about that 65% went down and 15% went up. Well, that 15% that went up is dominated by keys. Almost no hot covers in that.
Yeah, I bet you the majority of that 65 is all hot covers.
Yeah, the vast majority of it is. And here's the things there's two things that I figured out from looking at the difference between that book and like an Aquaman 39, which was also by Middleton, also a gorgeous cover.
Yes.
Isn't worth a damn thing. Like less than cover price, because there's like a 9.8 you can get for like $19.
Yeah. That's what it costs to slab it, right?
Yeah, that's already slab. You can get it for less than the slab cost. the difference is there's a couple of things. One, could people see it before the cutoff date? If people knew it was coming, most of the time there's enough of them ordered to handle the demand.
And that's why that book behind you is so hot, because nobody saw it coming.
Nobody knew it was coming.
Exactly.
Like, there's two really cool Yasmin Putri Red Hood covers that hit the list and had value.
Yes.
One of them, people knew, like, and it's probably the better cover, in my opinion. People knew was coming for like months. They ordered the crap out of that book. That book is like a cover price book all day long.
Because
the other one, which was the issue before, nobody saw it coming. It's maintained a $20 to $25 value.
Exactly.
And, you know, so do people know that they're coming? And are they truly hard to get? What is the print run? What is, like, you know, and
people know they're coming, and the shops know they're coming, so they're ordering.
Yeah,
the wazoo. You couldn't find that Batgirl cover. You just couldn't. It's a gorgeous cover, but it's not so much better than all the other covers that came after it.
Yeah.
It's just.
No, it's not. I mean, it's a fantastic cover, but there's a lot of covers in that Batgirl run that I would argue are just as good. But everybody knew. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I totally agree.
Like, the Gray Man doesn't pretty. Let's see. I'm trying to check the chat. TJ says that you have to be careful about not. Yeah, there are books that, don't get me wrong, there are books that hit that list that are only going up. You know, Fantastic Four 48 over the last 6 months is the prime example, probably, that's hit the list. That and your book, the one we talked about, the Shang-Chi book, Special Edition 15.
Special Edition 15, yeah.
Those books have been on a, you know.
For sure.
They're on, that Blade book had hit the list at least once earlier in the thing. First Blade had hit the list, and now that book is on, and it's probably never, Giant Size X-Men, it's never coming back.
No, but that book took forever.
Yeah.
There was a time when X-Men 94 was the bigger book.
Yes.
That was the book to get. Giant Size came after, and it was pretty much, maybe a $500 book. It was still, you know, that's some good money. But now it just took forever to blow up. It has 3 first appearances or 4. And you know what? It's getting its due. But goes back to what? Patience, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be patient.
And the other thing is, at some point, there are times when you have to let a book go. Like, maybe not like forever, but like, hey, Hulk 181, it might be gone. Like, but you never know what's going to happen, or you might be able to move some of your collection down the line. Something else might take off. You might be able to flip a book.
For sure.
But you have to be okay with what is attainable for you. And if it's not, sometimes you just got to let a book go.
You know what? What's a great point that I think of sometimes? You don't have to have every book.
No.
You're not going to have every book. And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay, man. It doesn't mean your collection's any less. You know, you don't have to have every hot book. You don't have to have every key. It's, you know, I don't. I think I have a lot. I'm very proud of my collection. I think I have all my grails.
Right.
But there's still hot books that I would like to have. If the right one comes along, I'll pull the trigger. You know, I'll spend that money. But sometimes, you know, if I don't want the book, it's buy what you like, man. It's buy what you like.
You know, and it was something I struggled with. And part of the reason I did this list, and I was struggling with this list last fall before I started doing research, was I was in a place of getting back into collecting where I felt, because I had never really collected before, I had read and I had books and that kind of stuff, but I never had chased books that I didn't just buy off the shelf. And I kind of felt like, and I was watching all these other videos and YouTube channels and seeing all these fantastic books. And I was in this place of where I felt like my collection was inadequate, that it wasn't good. It was like, oh, I don't have hardly any like books that are worth anything. And I have to do something, and I got to find a way to like build value, and I got to chase these books so that I can get the next big thing and be ahead of the curve. And ultimately, that's not the kind of collector I wanted to be. And it didn't make me happy. It made me sad to collect comics, because I had to get to a point where, you know what? My collection is fantastic. Are there books I still want? Absolutely. Are there things I would love to add? Absolutely. But I am super happy with every book that I got. And that's part of that, getting over that fear of missing out, is coming to like understand what you are as a collector, who you are, and where you're at in your ability to add books and collect.
I just want to say that I was looking at the chat, and Chad's saying that I get all the hot books. I don't, man. I love Bronze Age Marvel. There are so many key DC books that I just don't have, and you know what? I'm not going to go after. They're still great books, but that's not what I collect. Like that Batgirl. That's not a book for me. I won't go for that book because I like Marvel Bronze Age. You know, it doesn't mean that they're not. You know, but I'm not also, let's say a Batgirl, the first appearance of Batgirl comes across and it's the right price. I'm not going to turn my back on it.
Right.
But it's not a book I'm hunting. It's not a book I'm hunting.
Well, and that's me. Like, I've come to a place where I was hunting, like, I had this whole list and all kinds of, like, oh, I want this and this and this and all these different characters. And ultimately, I had to come to a place of, I'm a Bats and Spiders guy. I'm going to collect Batman books, Spider-Man books, and a few other specific books related to other characters, and that's it. And that's, you know, now if I see a deal, I'm not going to walk away from a really good deal on something.
Exactly. You're not going to walk away. You're not going to be
I'm going to be aware, but like as far as like actively hunting for, I'm going to focus on the books that I really want, and that's pretty much it.
Like, I'm not a big, huge Spider-Man fan. But I do have a couple. What happened?
TJ, you don't have to have every book. Why didn't someone say this before? I can start. Well, TJ, maybe you do have to have them. When you have a time machine, TJ, and you can go back and get them right off the printer and like put them in a slab, then you can have every book. It's okay. So
yeah, that's awesome, man.
Then Ruli says something awesome. He says having keys is great, but ultimately we just love reading comics, right? Everybody's collection is freaking priceless.
Yeah, exactly. I got books that are covered all, 50-cent books, 25-cent books. I don't want to get rid of them. I love them. I love my books.
Yeah. So the other like big thing that I wanted to bring up related to books hitting the list is, so there's like 4 categories almost of books that hit the list. It seems to me like there's hot covers, there's actual keys, there's first appearances of important characters, which may or may not ever be important, and there's option news. And option news is maybe a bigger trap than hot covers, folks. Those books don't. Now, if it's Marvel saying they're going to make Shang-Chi, that's one level of option news. But if it's this book that's never even come out, and the first issue came out last week, and it's been optioned by Netflix for a potential show at some point, maybe, possibly, dude, that book's going nowhere.
When that news comes out, of course, it's not the right time to get that book.
Right.
Wait a month. People will be talking about the new option book.
About it.
Exactly. They'll be talking about what's the new thing that got optioned.
Yeah.
Wait. There's no rush. There's no rush.
I mean, if you see option news and you go, boy, that's a book that I like, or
Yeah.
that's a character I like. That's something I would like to have.
Exactly.
More than likely, the option news, it's going to be years before they make it. So it's kind of like Bake was talking about this. Bake was talking about this on Direct Edition Squad a while ago. I caught part of that before you and I joined in. They were talking about the Marvel stuff last night, and he was talking about how Fantastic Four is probably still 5 years or more away, and people have been all over it, like it's coming right to the MCU because they have a plan. Plus, it takes time to make these things, and generally speaking, when they make option news on anything, you're talking at least a couple of years because it just takes time. So wait, let that news fade, and then even if they ultimately make something, if you waited 6 months, you're going to get a way better deal on it. Make a note. If you really want it, make a note. Look back for it later because it's not coming like they auction it today. The new show isn't coming out in 3 months.
Exactly. Just wait. You're gonna. The books are gonna be out. The books are gonna be out. So yeah, for sure. Options. Wait. Marvel. Yeah, if they're saying it's getting made, wait. Also, when that big news comes out, just
yeah, you got to wait for the ebbs and flow in Marvel news. But,
exactly.
And the other thing is, TV and movie news are not equal.
No.
Something gets optioned for a TV show. It's even less movies are probably less likely to happen, but like they don't tend to have the same kind of staying power in terms of like value that like the big Marvel movies do and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Another book that doesn't seem to hold its value are villain books.
Yeah.
Villain books are tricky, man. There's not too many that you're gonna find. There's a classic, the first Magneto, first Doctor Doom, first Blob. The classics. But a modern villain book,
well,
man, you're taking a chance.
Well, all of those books, if you don't have them, and that villain's gets confirmed for a movie or a TV show or whatever, the best thing to do is just wait till they've used them because they're going to go away. They don't keep showing up like the heroes do.
Yeah, Apocalypse.
Yeah,
what was the one in the Batman?
Superman crashed.
What book was that? That was
Apocalypse is X4.
No, X Factor 6.
Yeah, X Factor.
The one with Batman. Oh my God. That he was like the back. I can't remember what his name was, but that book's nothing now. And that book blew up.
TJ's talking about the White Widow. That book made the list yesterday, TJ. Made the list 6 months ago. It was on my video yesterday, and they've come back down in price. And there's 80 bajillion covers for that, dude. It's just a hot chick. Like everybody I've heard that like got one and read it said it was not very good. but it is a hot. That guy can draw. There is no doubt about it.
I really don't want to talk about headlights or hot chicks tonight. It's kind of like a sore subject with me. Congrats, but it's kind of a sore right now with those hot chick books.
But I forgot where I was going before I said that.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, we were talking about the villains.
Yeah,
villains like Ultron was huge around the movie time. Apocalypse was huge around the movie time. Those books have come way back.
Yeah.
And
Thanos is probably not going to go back. It'll probably maintain its price.
But
I believe.
Yeah, I think Thanos is one that's not going to fade.
It's not going to
agree, but Thanos is more of an iconic villain.
Exactly.
Than some of the others. And like if they didn't like, I don't know. I think you're risking a lot with villains. My thought process on villains is if you own the book, you sell it when the movie comes out or around the time the movie comes out, and then you wait 3 to 4 years, and then you go buy like 2 copies for what you sold it for.
Exactly. Great point, man. Great point. Perfect. That's exactly what you do with the villain, man. because they will come down.
TJ said he got his first White Widow book at 9.8 for $61 today.
He probably could have not waited and got a better deal.
Yeah, well, he did wait because he got a better deal than he would have when it first came out.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So, yeah, Bacon's like villains are very few are worth a lot.
It's just the classics mainly. It's the classic villains.
It's the villains that have really stood the test of time are the ones that really are worth something.
Think about it. All the Spidey villains.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four villains. You know, it's that's basically what it is. The first Scrolls.
Yeah. Scrolls and Doctor Doom and you know.
That they're not going anywhere. They're going to be reused and used over and over again. So those are the ones to get. But a modern villain, who cares, man? Like right now, isn't it like the Red Mist in Superman or something?
Yeah, something like that.
That's even the Spider-Man. What is it? The Kindred or something like that?
Kindred, yeah, it's a new. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe you talk about patience. If you have those books, maybe 15 years from now,
exactly. Hold on to
something. But you don't know that now.
You don't.
Big Will talked about. We did and he might still be in the chat. He talked about. I think it was like 10 years. That he wanted to see a book and a character maintained for 10 years before he thought they were truly something that you could like. This is a book you can actually believe in. That you can actually like. This is a key that's going to maintain some value.
That's a great point. 10 years is perfect. 10, even 15, I would go.
Yeah.
Look at what was it 2 years ago? What was it? Red Goblin.
Red Goblin.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was last year. Yeah, everybody blew up on those books.
And they might go up, but
at least 5 years is what he was talking about. But yeah. So I don't know. Let's see. Is there any other thing in here? We've talked about FOMO. We've talked about patience, character staying power. Did people know what's coming on the cover stuff? Option news. I think that's most everything that I really wanted to cover. Is there anything else, Haile, you had that
man, I think we covered a lot, man. I'm begging you, don't stop doing this, man. I love the show. You do a really good job with it. Sometimes your cat makes an appearance, so that's kind of cool.
He's in my lap at the moment. So
yeah, even though I am a dog person, I do appreciate cats. So it's all good.
I got a lab too.
Okay.
He's in the other room. Well, actually, he's at my folks right now because I'm going to be on the road for a few days. But
I do appreciate the work that goes into it, man. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat and a lot of the viewers appreciate the work because I know it's not easy.
Well, it's really not too bad, but yeah, I do have to I spend a little time, but it's worth it. If it's giving people information, to me, it's worth it.
It's helped me look at it. Look at collecting a different way,
Yeah.
Books come around. It's okay if you miss out sometimes. You will find them, and they do come out. Yeah.
And Rag718 mentions that the Red Goblin's supposedly coming back.
That's what they say. I heard that.
That's what they say. But you know what? If you missed out on the Red Goblin originally and waited to get those Spider-Man books till the last couple of months, those things were barely above cover anymore.
Exactly.
So you would have had your opportunity to get on those books and be ready for when it comes back and they use it again and if they jump back up. So I see Ruben's dropped in. Hey, Ruben. So I'm going to ask the chat real quick. Is there anything else you guys feel like that we haven't touched upon that you feel like you guys have caught on to from the list or just anything you guys want to hear us touch base on? But otherwise, I think we've covered most of it. I want to thank everybody that's in the chat and then everybody that comments and watches these videos because, like you said, I debated a couple times stopping doing it because I felt like after about a month and a half, I had this list of the lessons learned kind of thing. And I was ready to kind of okay, I'm going to transition to something else. And it was only because people kept thanking me for doing it, that people kept saying how like useful they found it, that I kept doing it. And so I definitely want to thank everybody for that.
You know what's a point I want to make real quick? I find myself, I'd rather buy Bronze Age or Silver Age and put my money there when I find a good deal or something I'm happy paying, rather than going after that hot list, or the hot new book. Or I just see there's more value in that. Just going after something that's established and you can find at a good price.
Yeah. And John makes a good point, and I should have been on my list and I forgot about it, is always do your research.
Yes.
Never just go buy like, oh, this book's important, go on eBay or whatever and just go buy a book.
Because of something somebody says.
Yeah. Don't do it. Look at them up, figure out what's going on with the book, and that comes back to the patience thing. But yeah. Do your research. Know what you're buying. And look at your pictures. And if you don't like the pictures, ask them for pictures. Like, don't just buy stuff to buy it.
Look at CGC sold. Look at CGC sold. Go collect. Use all that stuff, man.
Go into eBay. Like, if you got like this information that I use to put the list together is Go Collect. eBay sold listings.
That's what I use.
I mean, that's where all of this information comes from. And it's not that hard to do. Like the eBay you just have to go under like the sold listings, just right down the side. And you click sold and you can see what the book's been going for despite what people are listing it for, because they're going to list it for crazy prices sometimes. So do your research. Go ahead.
And buy what you like, man.
Buy what you like. Big Will asked for like the highest percentage gain or drop. I didn't actually do that, but I will remind everybody basically what we talked about earlier for those of you that maybe joined late. 65% of the books from 21 weeks of the list that I still have in this folder, 210 books, went down. Another 17% basically stayed the same price. And then 15% of books actually continued to go up. So about a book and a half a week is going to continue to go up, just on average, from looking at the list. So yep, say no to GPA. And, just continue to do your work. Hey, Bear Island, I see he hopped in. Comic Books NYC hopped in at some point. Bake the Snake. Ruben, let's see, anybody else? I thought I called out Biggie Shack earlier. Maybe not. If I didn't, thanks for joining me, Biggie. The Gray Man. I love signed comics. Who else is there? Rag718. TJ, of course, is still here. Rob Worst. I don't remember if I called out Rob earlier. I want to thank everybody for joining us again. Anybody else? Any other questions that I missed here?
Thanks for coming up, guys. Appreciate it. Just two guys talking comics.
Yeah. So auctions usually go for fair market value, not ridiculous amount. Most sellers want to buy it now. Yeah. Mr. Miracle. Hey, Mr. Miracle, what's going on? Kachung, I think I called that Kachung earlier. So, no, like I said, I want to thank you guys. I will say that's something like Bear Island talked about. He didn't have the patience for auctions, and for the buy it now. Something else I've noticed on the list that I didn't mention earlier is a lot of times if a book is coming down, let's say books, there's a lot of books that have peaked and they're starting to drop back. The buy it nows will react to what the market is a lot slower than the auctions will, because you'll see that the market starts to dry up, buyers start to dry up for a book. Your auctions sometimes end up being your better deals. Like if a book is on the decline, like it's peaked and it's coming back down, you've been watching the prices, you're watching the sold prices, the odds of getting that new lower price is better on an auction than it is on a buy it now. Just because the sellers are slower to react. Is my light like, I guess maybe with the fan, it's like flashing.
It looks like it's flickering.
Yeah. Turn the fan off. Maybe that's shaking it, I think, or something. Either that or I need to replace a light bulb. It doesn't look like it's flickering.
Hey,
So yeah, for that aspect of like when a book is dropping, your auctions are your better prices. The weird thing is though, when a book is maintaining or going up, sometimes the auctions actually go for more than buy it now listings.
And it's super easy to get caught up in one of those auctions, man.
Yeah.
You take it personal.
You do take it personal.
Yeah.
So but I have noticed that on several times I have bid on books, like, and I've put it like, there'll be like a buy it now price at like the low end of the buy it now prices, and I'll bid on something and like I'll be a percentage below that will be my max bid, and I'll look back and I lost it, and the guy bid, I could have walked over and bought like a buy it now in a better condition for less than what the auction went for, and I'm like, and that's just somebody who gets wrapped up in an auction. So auctions have good sides and bad sides. Like,
yeah, and you also let's say you find a book and it's like you're not sure about the price. You think it's a good price. Man, keep scrolling down.
Yeah,
keep looking. Because you might find something better from a better seller.
Don't forget the sort. You can sort by ending soonest or newly listed or
lowest price. Yeah, and sometimes let's say I love getting those Bronze Age, like anywhere from 6 to 8. I think that's like my sweet spot.
Yeah.
Sometimes a 6 looks better than an 8.
Right.
You know, depending on what you like in a book. You know, if you don't, I don't like books with creases. I can't stand creases. The ticks and all that, the color breaking ticks, as long as it's not too crazy, I'm okay with it. But I hate creases, color breaking creases. And I might find a lower graded book that has no crease, and then I look up and it's like, dude, this one's a point or whatever better, but it has that crease that I don't like. You know, you got to get what you like, but you got to look. You got to find your book, man. And it's okay to pass up on a book.
And there's going to be more. There just is. There's going to be more. Like somebody, who was it, said, Sam I Am says, set a price point for auctions. There will be more auctions of most books. Most books are not that hard to find.
Exactly. Even that rare book, it'll come up. You know, there's very few books that are not going to come up.
I mean, now you get into, which I don't collect, you get into Golden Age stuff, and the rules change a little bit just because those books are so rare.
Yeah, that's different. That's a whole different rabbit hole.
But for modern books, even bronze, and even most Silver Age books, there's enough of them out there. There's going to be other opportunities.
Exactly. Good point. There are. Like I said earlier, books come around. It's not going to be the last one you're going to see. And it's usually not when you expect to see those books. That's just my experience. Books come around, and you just never know when they are. And hit up all your shops. Go to your different shops from time to time.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Miracle says, I've taken a year to find a book at a grade I want for a price I want. And that's not unusual. Like, it took me, like, I literally started looking for that book in November. And between a little bit of trying to get the funds together where I felt comfortable to actually do it, and then finding the right bid, the right book, and the right price. Yeah, it took, till just recently to get that book. And that's okay. Take your time.
Exactly.
It goes back to the patience thing. Wait for the right deal at the right book, the right time, and eventually you'll find it.
And the right price, the right book might come up, but you might have other stuff going on. Don't freak out. You can't get it at that moment. Wait. Yeah. Another one will come around. I promise you, man. It's happened to me countless times. Countless times.
So, all right. Well, I think that I haven't seen anybody else mention anything that's like prompted me to remember anything else I wanted to talk about that I'd forgotten. So I think we're almost at an hour. I think we're going to ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank everybody again for joining me in the chat. I really appreciate it. I want to thank Hialeah. Thank you, sir.
You.
For
Thank
coming
you for
on.
having me, man. It's been great hanging out with you, talking comics. I could do it all night, man. I love comics, man.
Well, we'll do it again. We will definitely do it again. So
for sure.
Well, I'm going to get off of here. I want to thank everybody, and we will catch you guys next time.
Thank you, guys. Peace.